The letter that changed everything. Sometimes a single letter doesn't just bring back memories. It brings back an entire life. Ryan was cleaning the attic of his late grandmother's old house. Dust covered every corner, old furniture creaked with age, and forgotten boxes had remained untouched for years. He never imagined that this ordinary day would change his life forever. As he opened an old wooden chest, he found faded photographs, worn-out books, and a yellow envelope resting beneath them. Only one name was written on it. Ryan. His hands began to shake. Slowly, he opened the envelope and unfolded the handwritten letter inside. The very first sentence made his heart stop. "If you're reading this letter, it means fate has finally brought us together again." The letter was signed. Emma, the girl he had loved more than anyone. The girl who had disappeared from his life 10 years ago. In an instant, Ryan's mind drifted back to high school. He remembered the first day they met. Emma accidentally dropped all her books in the school hallway. Ryan quickly bent down to help her pick them up. As their eyes met for the first time, Emma smiled. It was a simple smile. But for Ryan, it felt like the beginning of something magical. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Before long, they were inseparable. They studied together, walked home together, shared their dreams, their fears, and every little secret. Everyone at school believed they were meant for each other. One autumn afternoon, they sat beneath a giant maple tree. The golden leaves slowly fell around them. Emma looked at Ryan and softly asked, "What if one day life separates us?" Ryan gently held her hand and smiled. "No matter where life takes me, I promise I'll always come back for you." Emma smiled with tears in her eyes. "Then I'll wait." A few days later, rain poured across the city. They shared one umbrella while walking home. They talked about opening a small cafe near the ocean, a place where they could watch every sunset together. Everything seemed perfect, until fate decided to test them. 1 week before graduation, Ryan's father received an unexpected job offer overseas. The family had to leave that very night. Ryan couldn't believe it. He immediately called Emma. No answer. He called again. Still nothing. Again and again. Every call went unanswered. He sent dozens of messages. "Please answer. I have to see you." "I'm leaving tonight." But there was only silence. With tears in his eyes, Ryan packed his bags. Late that night, his family's car disappeared into the rain. Ryan looked back at the city through the car window, hoping he would see Emma one last time. He never did. The next morning, he sat on the airplane staring through the window. His phone remained silent. No calls, no messages, no goodbye. Slowly, Ryan convinced himself that Emma had chosen to move on. What he didn't know was that Emma had never ignored him. She never had the chance to answer. And the truth behind that silence would remain hidden for 10 long years. The truth. Hidden for 10 years. Ryan folded the letter with trembling hands, but he couldn't stop reading. Every word pulled him deeper into a past he had never truly left behind. Emma had written, "The night you left, I wasn't ignoring your calls. I was on my way to meet you one last time." Ryan's heart sank. He continued reading. That rainy evening, Emma rushed out of her house after reading Ryan's message. She wanted to see him before he left forever. The streets were slippery, and the rain grew heavier with every passing minute. As she crossed an intersection, a speeding truck lost control. Everything happened in seconds. The loud sound of crashing metal echoed through the empty street. Emma's phone flew onto the road and shattered into pieces. An ambulance arrived within minutes. She was rushed to the nearest hospital. For days, she remained unconscious. Doctors weren't sure if she would survive. Meanwhile, Ryan waited for a call that never came. He believed Emma had forgotten him. But the truth was far more painful. Weeks later, Emma finally opened her eyes. The first thing she asked was, "Where's my phone?" "I need to call Ryan." A nurse looked at her with sympathy. "I'm sorry. Your phone was destroyed in the accident." Emma's heart broke. As soon as she recovered enough to leave the hospital, she ran to Ryan's old house. But it was empty. The neighbors told her the family had moved overseas. No one knew where. Emma searched everywhere. She contacted old classmates. She searched social media. She visited places they used to go together. But Ryan had completely disappeared from her life. Months turned into years. Although life moved on, Emma's heart remained in the past. She never stopped believing that one day, somehow, fate would bring them together again. One quiet evening, she sat beside her bedroom window with a blank sheet of paper. Instead of writing a goodbye, she wrote a promise. She poured every emotion, every memory, and every unanswered question into one heartfelt letter. At the end, she wrote, "If destiny still believes in us, meet me at the old lighthouse on October 15th at sunset. I'll be there, even if I have to wait forever." Before moving to another city, Emma visited Ryan's grandmother. With tears in her eyes, she handed her the envelope. "If Ryan ever comes back, please give him this." Ryan's grandmother held the letter close and nodded. "I promise." Years passed. The letter remained hidden safely inside the old wooden chest, waiting, just like Emma. Now, 10 years later, Ryan looked at the final line once again. "Meet me at the lighthouse on October 15th. Confused, he reached for his phone and checked the date. His eyes widened. It was October 15th, and the sun was already beginning to set. Without wasting another second, Ryan grabbed his car keys and ran out of the house. He had only one chance left. One chance to find the girl he had never stopped loving. The promise that never died. Ryan jumped into his car and sped toward the old lighthouse. Dark clouds covered the sky as heavy rain began to fall once again, just like it had 10 years ago. His hands gripped the steering wheel tightly. Every mile brought back another memory. Emma laughing beneath the autumn trees. Their first walk home together, the promise he had made. "No matter where life takes me, I'll always come back for you." For the first time in years, Ryan realized that love had never left his heart. As he reached the coastal highway, the waves crashed violently against the rocks. The lighthouse finally appeared in the distance. The sun was slowly disappearing behind the horizon. Ryan parked his car and ran toward the lighthouse. His heart pounded faster with every step. He looked around. The beach was empty. Only the sound of the wind and the ocean filled the silence. He waited. 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. No one came. Ryan lowered his head and smiled sadly. "I guess I really was too late." With tears in his eyes, he turned around and started walking back. Then he heard footsteps behind him. Slow, gentle, almost unbelievable. Ryan froze. He slowly turned around. Standing only a few feet away was Emma. She looked older, more mature, but her smile was exactly the same. For a moment, neither of them spoke. 10 years of pain, 10 years of waiting, 10 years of unanswered questions, all disappeared in complete silence. Emma took one small step forward. "I almost stopped believing you'd come." Ryan's eyes filled with tears. "I never stopped loving you." Emma smiled through her tears. "And I never stopped waiting." Ryan walked toward her. Then he wrapped his arms around her. The world seemed to disappear. Only two hearts remained. At that very moment, the clouds slowly parted. Golden sunlight broke through the storm, shining over the lighthouse and the ocean. It felt as if destiny itself had finally smiled. They spent hours talking. They shared every moment they had lost, every misunderstanding, every lonely birthday, every dream that had remained unfinished. This time they made a new promise. No more silence. No more distance. No more goodbyes. 1 year later, Ryan and Emma stood together on the same beach. But this time, they weren't saying goodbye. They were getting married. Family and friends celebrated as the waves gently touched the shore. Months later, they opened the small beach cafe they had dreamed about in high school. Above the entrance hung an old wooden frame. Inside, it was the same handwritten letter that had reunited them after 10 years. Every customer who entered asked about the letter. Ryan would simply smile and say, "Some promises take longer to keep, but true love always finds its way." As the sun set over the ocean, Ryan and Emma stood outside their cafe holding hands. They watched the sky turn shades of orange and gold. Ryan looked at Emma and whispered, "I told you I would come back." Emma smiled warmly. "I knew you would. Sometimes life separates two people. Sometimes time tests love in ways no one can imagine. But if two hearts are truly meant for each other, no distance is too far, no silence is too long, and no amount of time can erase a promise made with true love." The end.